I used to believe in happy endings. I used to think that if you worked hard, stayed loyal, and loved someone with your whole heart, the universe would reward you with peace, stability, and maybe even a little bit of joy. But if life has taught me anything, it's that reality doesn't care about your plans. Reality doesn't care about your love, your dreams, or your future. Sometimes, it just rips everything away from you and laughs while you struggle to breathe. That's exactly what happened to me. My name is Daniel. I'm 30 years old, and until a few weeks ago, I was supposed to get married. My fiancée's name was Anna. She wasn't just the love of my life. She was my best friend, my safe place, the reason I woke up every day with a smile. Or so I thought. I met Anna at a bookstore. Cliché, I know, but it's true. I had gone in on a rainy Saturday, looking for something to kill time. She was standing in the aisle, struggling to reach a book on the top shelf. She wasn't short, exactly, but the shelf was tall, and I, being 6 feet, walked over and grabbed it for her. She smiled at me, and that smile was like sunlight breaking through clouds. We started talking about books, about the weather, about nothing and everything. It was easy, natural. By the time I left the store, I had her number saved in my phone, and a week later we had our first date. That was 5 years ago. Anna was different. She had this energy about her, this warmth that made everyone want to be near her. She was kind, thoughtful, funny. She remembered the little things. If I mentioned offhand that I liked a certain snack, she'd show up with it the next day. If I had a bad day at work, she'd cook my favorite meal or surprise me with movie tickets. My friends liked her. My family adored her. And me? I was head over heels. After 3 years of dating, I proposed. I did it on Christmas Eve in front of my parents, my sister, and her family. I was nervous, my hands shaking as I got down on one knee. But Anna cried and said yes before I even finished asking. Everyone cheered. My mom cried. It was perfect. For 2 years we planned the wedding. Nothing fancy, but beautiful. A ceremony at a local church, a reception at a country club, about 120 guests. We argued about little things, like flower arrangements and music, but never about us. About us, we were always solid. Or so I thought. The final month before the wedding was chaos. Meetings with the planner, fittings, payments. Last minute RSVPs. My best man, Jason, was a huge help. Jason had been my best friend since high school. We'd been through everything together. College parties, breakups, job losses, road trips. He was like a brother to me, and it felt only right to have him stand by my side when I married the woman I loved. Anna loved him too. They joked a lot, but I never thought anything of it. She was naturally friendly, and Jason had always been the charming type. I trusted both of them completely. Maybe that was my biggest mistake. 3 days before the wedding, everything changed. I was supposed to meet Anna for dinner. She didn't show up. I called. No answer. I texted. No reply. I figured maybe she was stressed. Maybe she had fallen asleep. Maybe she was with her bridesmaids. But when I went by her apartment, she wasn't there. Her car was gone. At first, I didn't panic. Cold feet happen, right? Brides get nervous. Maybe she just needed space. But then her maid of honor, Emily, called me. She sounded scared. Daniel, have you heard from Anna? No. Why? She's not answering me either. She missed our final dress fitting today. That's not like her. Now I was worried. I called her parents. They hadn't heard from her. I called her work. They said she'd taken time off for the wedding. Nobody knew where she was. The next morning, I went to the police. Filing a missing persons report is something you never imagined doing. The officer asked me questions when I last saw her. If we had argued, if she had shown any signs of wanting to leave. I told them no. We were happy. At least, I thought we were. Any chance she might be seeing someone else? The officer asked, his pen scratching across the paper. The question made me angry. No, absolutely not. Anna would never do that. But the seed was planted in my mind. That night, I barely slept. My phone stayed on my chest, waiting for a call, a text, anything. Nothing came. The second day passed. Family members were arriving in town, asking questions. My mother tried to reassure me, saying Anna was probably just stressed. My father was more direct. Son, something's wrong here. I didn't want to believe him. On the third day, I got my answer. It wasn't the police who told me. It wasn't her parents, or Emily, or anyone who cared about me. It was social media. A friend texted me a link. Dude, is this Anna? I clicked it, and my world collapsed. There she was. Anna, smiling, laughing, standing in a different city. With Jason, my best friend, my best man. They weren't hiding. They were holding hands, kissing, posting pictures, together like a couple on vacation. I couldn't breathe. My stomach twisted, my chest burned. I wanted to scream, to throw my phone, to destroy something, anything. But all I could do was stare. Anna wasn't missing. She hadn't been kidnapped, or lost, or in danger. She had run away with him. The wedding was canceled. Guests had already flown in, and I had to face them, one by one, explaining that the bride had left me for my best man. I've never felt humiliation like that in my life. My mom cried. My dad wanted to find Jason and teach him a lesson. My sister cursed on his name for an hour straight. Everyone tried to comfort me, but it was useless. My entire life had been ripped away, and I was left standing in the wreckage. And the worst part, they didn't even apologize. Neither Anna nor Jason reached out. Not a single word. I was nothing more than collateral damage in their love story. The night after I found out, I didn't sleep at all. I sat in my living room, staring at the pictures of Anna and Jason on my phone. Every time I tried to close my eyes, the images burned in my mind like acid. Her smile, his arm around her, the way they looked so carefree. That smile was supposed to be for me. That future was supposed to be ours. Instead, I was left with silence, unanswered questions, and an apartment full of wedding decorations that meant nothing. I wanted to call her. I wanted to scream at her, demand answers, ask her how she could do this to me. But I didn't. Some part of me knew it was pointless. She had already chosen, and she hadn't chosen me. By morning, the news had spread among the family. My mom brought me breakfast, even though I couldn't eat. My dad sat across from me, his jaw clenched so tightly I thought he might break his teeth. "Son," he said, "I know this isn't what you want to hear, but you need to face it. She's gone. And Jason," his hands tightened in a fist, "Jason is no friend of yours. He's a coward and a snake." I nodded, but I couldn't even process his words. My sister, Rachel, was less gentle. She stormed into my apartment later that day, red-faced and furious. "Are you kidding me, Daniel? Jason of all people. I never trusted him." "Yes, you did," I muttered. "Well, not that much." She threw her hands up. "God, how could she do this? You were perfect for her. You treated her like a queen." I didn't have an answer. The hardest part wasn't facing my family. It was facing the guests. People had traveled across the country for this wedding. Old college friends, extended relatives, co-workers. They had booked hotels, rented cars, bought gifts. And now I had to stand there, looking them in the eye, and tell them it was all for nothing. Some people were kind. They hugged me, told me it wasn't my fault, that I deserved better. Others looked at me with pity, whispering behind my back. I could hear them. "Poor guy. Imagine being left like that." Humiliation seeped into my bones. I wanted to disappear as much as Anna had, but after the humiliation came anger. I wasn't just sad anymore. I was furious. Furious at Anna for betraying me. Furious at Jason for stabbing me in the back. Furious at myself for not seeing it, for being so blind, so trusting. I replayed every memory in my head, searching for clues. Times when Anna and Jason had laughed a little too much together. Moments when they had exchanged glances. Late nights when Jason had said he was busy. Had it been going on for months? Years? Had my entire relationship been a lie? The questions gnawed at me, and there were no answers. 3 days after the canceled wedding, I did something reckless. I drove to Jason's apartment. I didn't know if Anna would be there, but I didn't care. I needed to see him, face to face. When he opened the door, the sight nearly broke me. Anna was there, behind him, wearing one of his shirts. My blood boiled. "Daniel," Jason started, but I shoved him back, storming into the apartment. "Are you kidding me?" I shouted. "You? My best friend. My fiancée. How could you do this to me?" Anna looked pale, guilty, but not enough. She crossed her arms. "Daniel, please, don't you dare." I cut her off. "Don't you dare tell me to calm down. Do you have any idea what you've done? Do you have any idea how much humiliation you've caused me?" Jason tried to put a hand on my shoulder, but I shoved him away. "You were supposed to be my brother, my best man, and you," my voice cracked, "you took her from me." He had the audacity to look ashamed. "I didn't mean for this to happen." "Didn't mean for this to happen?" I laughed bitterly. "Jason, you don't accidentally sleep with your best friend's fiancée. You don't accidentally plan a future with her behind my back." Anna finally spoke, her voice shaking. "Daniel, I didn't want it to be like this. I just realized I didn't love you the way I thought I did." Those words pierced deeper than any knife. "You didn't love me." My voice broke. "Then why did you say yes when I proposed? Why did you plan a wedding with me for 2 years? Why did you let me believe?" Tears blurred my vision. I couldn't finish. Jason stepped closer. We didn't want to hurt you, I snapped. Then what the hell do you call this? The neighbors must have heard the shouting, because someone banged on the wall. I realized if I stayed any longer, I'd do something I'd regret. So I left. I slammed the door and walked away. My whole body shaking with rage. After that confrontation, I spiraled. I stopped going to work. I ignored calls. I barely ate. My apartment became a mess of takeout boxes, unopened mail, and shattered pieces of the life I once had. Everywhere I looked, I saw reminders of Anna, the invitations stacked in the corner, the wedding gift from my parents, the engagement ring receipt. It felt like I was living in a graveyard of my own mistakes. Friends tried to check in. Some even tried to drag me out of the house. But I couldn't face the world. Not when everyone knew. Not when I was the guy whose fiancé had run off with his best man. One night, there was a knock at my door. I almost didn't answer. But when I did, it was Emily, Anna's maid of honor. She looked nervous, clutching her purse. Daniel, can I come in? I hesitated, then stepped aside. She sat on the couch, glancing around at the mess. You're not doing well. Thanks for the observation, I muttered. She sighed. I know this doesn't make it any easier, but I think you deserve to know the truth. My stomach tightened. What truth? She hesitated. Anna and Jason. This wasn't sudden. It's been going on for a long time. Her words felt like daggers. How long? Emily looked at me with pity. At least a year. Maybe longer. A year. While we were planning the wedding. While I was paying deposits, picking out rings, writing vows. They were betraying me. I buried my face in my hands, rage and despair swirling together. Why are you telling me this? Because you need to stop blaming yourself, she said gently. This isn't your fault. They made their choice. They lied to you. You were nothing but good to Anna. Tears stung my eyes again. I hated that I was still crying over someone who had destroyed me. Emily squeezed my hand. You're going to get through this. You'll be stronger for it. But in that moment, I didn't feel strong at all. I felt broken. That night, lying awake in bed, Emily's words replayed in my head. They've been together for over a year. A year of lies. A year of pretending. A year of making me the fool. Something inside me shifted. The grief was still there, but beneath it, something darker was growing. Something sharper. I didn't just want to move on. I wanted them to regret what they had done to me. The days after, Emily's revelation blurred together. I barely knew what time it was most of the time, but something inside me had changed. The shock was fading, replaced by a steady fire in my chest. They hadn't just betrayed me. They had mocked me. For over a year, Anna and Jason had played their little game, smiling in my face, planning their secret future, while I wasted my life building a fake one with them. I was done being their victim. I shaved for the first time in weeks. I cleaned my apartment. I forced myself to go back to work, even though I could feel the whispers behind my back. That's him, people murmured. The guy whose fiancé left him for his best friend. Let them whisper. One day soon, they'd have something else to talk about. Revenge isn't something you can rush. You have to be patient, careful, strategic. I started small. Social media was my weapon. Anna and Jason were careless, posting their new relationship online like it was some fairy tale romance. I saved everything: photos, captions, comments. Then I dug deeper. I went through old messages, receipts, emails. Patterns started to emerge. Weekend trips Anna had claimed were girls' nights, matched perfectly with times. Jason was visiting family. The lies were endless. The more I uncovered, the less guilt I felt about what I was planning. One afternoon, I got a message from someone I didn't expect. Jason's ex-girlfriend, Lily. We had met a few times years ago, but I hadn't spoken to her in ages. Her text was simple. I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. If you ever want to talk, I know exactly how it feels to be betrayed by him. Curiosity got the better of me. We met at a cafe. Lily looked at me with sympathetic eyes. Jason cheated on me constantly. I thought I was crazy, paranoid, but then I found proof. And when I confronted him, he made me feel like it was my fault. I clenched my fist under the table. That sounded exactly like Jason. Charming on the outside, rotten on the inside. Lily leaned closer. You're not the first person he's destroyed, and you won't be the last, unless you stop him. Her words sent a chill down my spine. I realized then that my revenge wasn't just about me. It was about making sure Jason could never do this to anyone again. My first move was subtle. I started talking to people, mutual friends, co-workers, old acquaintances. I didn't spread lies. I didn't have to. I simply told the truth. Did you know Jason was sleeping with my fiancée while he was my best man? The reactions were immediate. Shock, disgust, pity. Jason's reputation began to crumble. People who once admired him started avoiding him. Invitations dried up. His social circle shrank. Anna wasn't spared either. The fairy tale romance they flaunted online was suddenly under attack in the comments. Homewrecker. Snake. How could you do that to Daniel? They deleted some of the post, but it was too late. The damage was spreading. But this was only the beginning. Jason and I worked at the same company, though in different departments. I've been avoiding him since the betrayal. But one day we crossed paths in the cafeteria. He tried to smile like nothing had happened. Hey, man. I glared at him. Don't you dare hey, man me. People turned to look. Jason's smile faltered. Can we talk privately? No. I said loudly enough for everyone to hear. We'll talk right here. You want to explain why you stole my fiancée? You want to explain why you stood next to me in tuxedo fittings while you were screwing her behind my back? The room went dead silent. Jason's face went pale. He stammered something about falling in love, but nobody looked convinced. By the end of the day, rumors had spread like wildfire. Jason's shiny image at work was shattered. That night, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Anna. Daniel, can we talk? Please, just once. I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Fine. Tomorrow. Cafe on Main Street. When I saw her the next day, it almost hurt worse. She looked the same, beautiful, graceful, the woman I thought I'd spend forever with. But her eyes were different, nervous, guilty. Daniel, she started, her voice trembling. I know I hurt you. I know I ruined everything. But I need you to understand. I didn't plan this. I didn't mean to fall for Jason. I laughed bitterly. Do you realize how pathetic that sounds? You were engaged to me, Anna. We were planning a wedding. And you accidentally fell for my best friend. Tears welled in her eyes. I still care about you. Don't, I snapped. Don't you dare say you care about me. If you cared, you wouldn't have lied to me for a year. You wouldn't have humiliated me in front of everyone I love. You chose him. Now live with it. She reached for my hand, but I pulled back. That was the last time I saw her face to face. Weeks passed. I focused on myself, slowly rebuilding. But the fire of revenge hadn't burned out. It had only grown stronger. Then came the discovery that changed everything. I was going through some old financial documents when I noticed something strange. Payments from my account, large ones, that I didn't remember authorizing. Venue deposits, catering, rings, and then withdrawals. Money that should have gone to the wedding fund was missing. I dug deeper, and then I found it. Anna had been siphoning money, using my account, thousands of dollars. And guess whose name appeared in a joint account with hers? Jason. My stomach dropped. It wasn't just betrayal of love. It was financial betrayal. They had stolen from me. And now, I had proof. I contacted a lawyer. I explained everything. The engagement, the betrayal, the missing money. At first, he looked skeptical. Then I showed him the documents. His eyebrows shot up. Daniel, he said, you realize what this means. This isn't just a breakup. This is fraud. If you want, we can take legal action. You could ruin them. A slow smile spread across my face. Good, I said. That's exactly what I want. When my lawyer confirmed that what Anna and Jason had done could be prosecuted as fraud, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Control. For the first time since the betrayal, the power wasn't entirely in their hands. We built the case carefully. Every receipt, every bank statement, every transfer. We collected it all. Anna had used my funds for wedding expenses, then redirected part of that money into an account she shared with Jason. Thousands of dollars. The lawyer smirked. They thought they were clever. But if we present this in court, they'll look like common thieves. And that's exactly what they were. The day they got served was one of the most satisfying of my life. I wasn't there to see it, but I heard from a mutual friend who worked near Jason's office. A man in a suit walked in, handed Jason a thick envelope, and said, "You've been served." Jason's face apparently went white as chalk. Anna was served at her apartment. According to Emily, she burst into tears on the spot. Good. Let them cry. Let them feel even a fraction of what they made me feel. The news spread fast. Small towns thrive on gossip, and ours was no exception. Word got around that Anna and Jason were being sued for fraud. Suddenly, people who had pitied me were now openly disgusted with them. Jason lost friends. Invitations dried up. He stopped showing his face at the gym, at bars, at social gatherings. Anna quit her job at a local boutique after whispers followed her every step. They had wanted to start a new life together. Instead, they had become pariahs. And I wasn't done yet. The first court hearing was surreal. I sat on one side with my lawyer. Anna and Jason sat on the other, both looking like they hadn't slept in days. Jason tried to avoid my eyes. Anna glanced at me once, her face crumpling, but I looked away. The judge reviewed the evidence. The financial trail was undeniable. "This is serious," the judge said, frowning. "Mr. and Miss, you knowingly misappropriated funds from Mr. Daniel's account under the pretense of wedding expenses." Jason tried to argue. "It wasn't theft, Your Honor. It was fraud." My lawyer cut in smoothly. The judge nodded. "We'll set a trial date." As we left the courtroom, Jason called after me. "Daniel, please, can't we talk about this?" I turned, my voice cold. "You had your chance to talk. Now you can explain yourself to the judge." A week later, I received a letter in the mail. It was from Anna. Handwritten. "Daniel, I know you hate me. I don't blame you. But I need you to understand that I never meant for this to happen. Jason pressured me into using the money. He said we'd pay it back before you noticed. I was stupid. I was weak. But I did love you once. Please don't destroy me completely. I don't deserve prison." I read the letter twice. My hands shook. But not with sorrow. With anger. She wanted sympathy. After lying to me for over a year. After stealing from me. After running off with my best friend. I crumpled the letter and threw it in the trash. The trial was brutal for them. My lawyer presented everything. The bank statements, the receipts. Even messages Anna had sent to Jason about moving money around. Their defense fell apart. Anna cried on the stand. Jason stammered, trying to paint himself as clueless. But the jury wasn't buying it. When the verdict came, it felt like a weight lifting off my shoulders. Guilty. They were ordered to repay me every cent, plus damages. Jason's bank account was practically drained. Anna had to sell her car. The life they had tried to build together crumbled before their eyes. People say revenge doesn't fix anything. Maybe they're right. It didn't erase the betrayal. It didn't bring back the years I wasted. But it gave me closure. One evening, I walked past a cafe where Jason used to hold court with his friends. He sat alone, hunched over a coffee, looking 10 years older. Nobody joined him. Nobody laughed at his jokes. Anna, I heard, moved back in with her parents. She kept a low profile, avoiding the places we used to go. For the first time in months, I felt peace, but then, something unexpected happened. Emily, Anna's maid of honor, reached out again. We met for coffee, and she looked troubled. "Daniel," she said, lowering her voice, "there's something you should know. Something I didn't tell you before." My stomach tightened. "What is it?" She hesitated. "Anna didn't just cheat on you with Jason. He wasn't the first. He wasn't even the only one. She'd been unfaithful for years. Jason was just the one she finally left with." The words hit me like a truck. Years, not months. Not a year. Years. The relationship I thought had been built on love had been rotting from the inside all along. And suddenly, everything made sense. The little lies, the unexplained absences, the times she had been too tired or too busy. My entire past with Anna had been a lie. The night, I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I just sat in silence, processing it all. And then I smiled, because for the first time, I realized the truth. Anna had never been the love of my life. She had been a test, a lesson, a storm I had to survive to become stronger. Jason had never been my brother. He had been a parasite, feeding off my trust. And me? I was still standing. I had my dignity, my future, and the satisfaction of knowing that they had destroyed themselves. They thought they had broken me, but all they had done was set me free. After Emily told me the full truth about Anna's history of betrayal, something inside me shifted. For months, I had been clinging to the image of Anna, the first thought I knew. The kind, funny, supportive woman I had fallen in love with. But that woman never existed. What existed was a mask. And now that it was ripped away, I finally saw the truth clearly. I had been in love with an illusion. And for the first time since the nightmare began, I felt free. I made a decision that night. No more letters. No more thoughts about her. No more giving her space in my head. I blocked Anna on everything. Phone, email, social media. I even deleted our old photos, the ones I had been too sentimental to let go of. Jason had been erased months ago, but this time, I erased her. My apartment, once a battlefield of memories, began to feel lighter. I rearranged the furniture. I bought new sheets. I changed the paint on one wall. Every little change felt like reclaiming space from a ghost. Life has a strange way of testing you. One Saturday, months after the trial, I walked into a grocery store. And there she was, Anna. She looked thinner, tired, her hair pulled back messily. She was pushing a half-empty cart, eyes darting nervously around as if afraid of being recognized. She noticed me, froze. For a second, her lips parted as if she was about to speak. I didn't give her the chance. I walked past without a word. The look on her face as I ignored her. That was the moment I knew I had won. Not because of the lawsuit, not because of the money, but because I had taken back control of my life. News about Jason reached me through the grapevine. He had lost his job after the fraud conviction. Employers didn't trust him. He was working under the table at a construction site, barely making ends meet. The man who once strutted around town like he owned it was now a shadow. Bitter and broken, I didn't feel sorry for him. Not anymore. Months later, I received a message request on social media from Anna's mother. She wrote, "Daniel, I know you probably never want to hear from me, but I need to say this. I'm so sorry for what my daughter did to you. You didn't deserve it. We raised her better, but somewhere along the way, she lost her way. Please don't judge yourself by her actions." Her words hit me harder than I expected. For so long, I had blamed myself for missing the signs, for trusting too much. But reading that message, I realized something. It wasn't me. It was her. And I could finally let go. Healing isn't linear. Some days I still woke up with a knot in my chest, remembering the wedding that never happened. Some nights I still dreamed of her face. But slowly, the pain dulled. I started traveling. Short trips at first, then longer ones. Cities I had always wanted to see but never had the time for. I hiked mountains. I read books. I spent weekends with friends I had neglected during my relationship. And through it all, I learned something profound. The worst betrayal in my life had given me the greatest gift, the chance to rebuild, stronger and wiser. A year after the almost wedding, I stood at a friend's barbecue, laughing at a dumb story. And that's when I met her, Sarah. She wasn't flashy. She wasn't dramatic. She was kind, thoughtful, and honest in a way that felt refreshing. We talked for hours, and when I walked her to her car, she smiled at me in a way that reminded me what real connection felt like. This time, I wasn't rushing. I wasn't blind. I was cautious, deliberate, but open. And for the first time in years, I felt something I thought I had lost forever: hope. Looking back, I realized something powerful. Anna and Jason thought they had destroyed me. They thought they had stolen my future. But in reality, they had only freed me from a life built on lies. Their betrayal was the storm. My survival was the sunrise. And now, I was walking into a new chapter, not as a broken man, but as someone who had endured hell and come out stronger. To anyone who's been betrayed, it doesn't define you. It doesn't end you. It sets you free.